Is it possible that someone who looks and feel younger could actually be biologically younger than someone else, even if they're the same age?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bonfire Conversations. Today, we're diving deep into the future of human evolution with a truly mind-blowing guest, Marcos Arrut, co-founder of RenovaCode Therapeutics. Marcos and his teams are doing incredible work in gene therapy, tackling some of life's biggest questions. What really makes us age? Can we slow it down or even reverse it? And what if living longer or even achieving immortality wasn't just science fiction, but something within our reach? In this episode, we explore the science behind how habits like stress and smoking impacts our genes, the future of limb regrowth, and the groundbreaking work being done to potentially extend our lives. We also discuss the ethical and regulatory hurdles of such ambitious research. This conversation is packed with insights into the possibilities of not just living longer, but maybe even living forever. Before we begin, please make sure to subscribe to Bonfire Conversations if you're enjoying the show. Bonfire Conversations is available on YouTube and all the major podcast streaming services. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Bonfire Conversations, Marcos. I'm super excited to talk to you today, to learn more about your work, and hopefully by the end of this conversation, I'll have my hands on some immortality pills. All right, for those who don't know, what's the story behind you and RenovaCode? What are you guys doing that's shaking things up in the evolution of medicine?
All right, it's a pleasure staying here. First, let me introduce. My name is Marcos Arrut. All right, I am a CEO of RenovaCode Therapeutics. I was born in Argentina, so my English is not very good, as you will see during the conversation. All right, and I am an aging researcher. And basically, in RenovaCode Therapeutics is a startup, it's an emerging company in that we develop a technology that is based in gene therapy that can reverse the aging, the biological aging in the human cells. And this is so interesting, groundbreaking.
Yeah. So we know that things like smoking, obesity, and stress literally change our genes and speed up aging. So is it only natural to look for ways to reverse that process? Like, what's really going on when it comes to aging, how aging happens, and how we can reverse that? Because that's something you guys are doing.
All right. Basically, for that, we need to understand how and what we age. All right. We need to understand first that all of your cells, the body, the human body, is composed by cells, all right? And all the cells have the same DNA, all right? The DNA and the genome is basically the thing that the cell have for that encode is the instructions for the cells for develop the proteins, the RNA, and all the things that the cellular need for the correct functionality, all right? The point is that first, all right, we need to understand that all the cells have the same DNA and the DNA have the instructions for the cell work, all right? But in the other side, we need to understand that the different type of cells have different functions. For example, we can observe how a neuron, for example, have how functionality send electrical impulse, for example. And in the other side, a cardiomyocyte, that is a cell, a heart cell, have the capacity of generate electrical contraction, all right? And how a fibroblast can produce collagen, all right? The point is that different type of cells have different functions, but the question now is that how different cell types, how can different functions and functionality if the all cells have the same instructions because have the same DNA. The point is that all the cells have the same genome, but not all the genome and not all the genes are activated. are genes that we have genes that are activate and other genes that are deactivate, are repressed. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a field that is called gene expression. All right. And the cells have a specific mechanism for activate or repress the genes. And this mechanism is called the epigenom. All right.
Yeah.
The point is that when we age, the epigenom start to malfunction, start to work poorly. All right. And start to activate genes that are not important for the current work of the cells, and start to deactivate or repress genes that are so important for the work of the cells. And this problem conduce, at the least in transcriptomical problems, is to say problems for create the mRNA and the proteins. All right. And this is basically the cause of the age. All right. The point is that the cell, when start to grow and the time goes by, the cell start to save security copies of your epigenom. All right.
Yeah.
And the epigenom is reversible. How? With this type of therapies. All right. We basically create a gene construct that has several sequences of DNA. This gene construct can be introduced to the cells, and into the cells goes to the nucleus of the cells, in where the DNA stay, and start to produce a specific group of proteins that is called transcription factors. Yes, these transcription factors create a cascade in the gene expression, and tends to the cell start to work in a more youthful state. It's like a backup, a cellular backup. And
exactly.
In this, we are working.
So you're kind of actually activating the backup version of those cells. Reactivating in a way. Wow, that's smart. So is it possible that someone who looks and feels younger could actually be biologically younger than someone else, even if they're the same age?
Sure, because we need differentiate two different concepts. All right. First is the concept of chronological age. That is the age that is present in the calendar. All right. And in the other sides, we have the biological age. That is really the age of your cells. All right, of your cells. And different type of cells can have a different type of age, that a different number in the age, because different cells stay and participate in different process, in different biological process. All right. And the point is that, for example, the environmentals have so important act in the world of the aging. All right. So if we have a person that, for example, have obesity or have a cardiovascular disease, for example, this person probably have a biological age more larger than a person that not have these problems.
Wow. So like mental factors also could kind of like influence that. I mean, for example, if someone is living a happy life, is biologically younger than someone who has the same calendar age, but like, for example, dealing with depression.
Yes, it's correct. Because, for example, the stress is a more important activator of the pathway of aging. All right, and we need to avoid the stress or unlike webter.
Wow. Yeah. So, how is it that some people seem to live longer and healthier lives, even with the habits like smoking or eating junk food, while others age faster, even when they're doing everything right?
All right, because the aging is a so complex process. All right, and the point is that not the environmental have an important act into the field of the aging, but we have also a genetic type of things that regulate the age. All right.
Let's talk about limb regrowth. It sounds something like straight out of a sci-fi movie, but is that something that we might actually see happen in our lifetime? Where's talk about the science behind that right now as we're talking.
All right. You with this refer to the idea of, for example, if a person they cut a limb, if this limb can regenerate.
All right. Yeah. For example, if someone is it's like a movies, like someone's losing a hand, is it possible to regrow that, or losing a part of an internal body part, for example, like a liver? Is it possible to organically regrow that?
Indeed, we know different animals that have capacities of regenerative is the word, that are awesome. All right. For example, we know different animals that have important portion of stem cells in your body. These stem cells have the capacity of create more cells. All right. And this, for example, can generate a regrowthing in the tissue or in the organ or in the limb, in this case. Apply this as human is complicated. It's complicated, but it's theoretically possible, and we have different persons that are involved in scientific community that are work in this, because in the science we have a field that is the regenerative medicine that think about this approach and how we can use different methods and strategies for regrowth tissues and solutionate this type of problems.
Yeah. So do you think we're programmed on some level? Like, is our DNA a code that defines everything about us?
Yes, we are programmed in several levels. All right. The point is that the DNA encodes the instruction for the cells, and the cells conform the tissues, and the tissues conform the organs, and the organs conform the body. All right. And several biological processes are regulated by the genes. A classical example is the embryogenesis. The embryogenesis is basically the process in that the person starts to grow when. All right. This is a classical process in that the gene regulation is a key. Other example can be the same age. The age is complicated because the scientific community have two different opinions about how really the aging occurs. We have people into the scientific community that think that the aging is the process of years of damage that the cells begins to create, to obtain. And in the other side, we have several scientific that think that the aging really is a programmed process, like the embryogenesis. All right, and we have different arguments for both. In my opinion, the aging is likely the point of the genes are so important, are really important. And if we observe the new discoveries that are published in different paper articles, scientific articles, we can observe that we have indications that the aging can be a programmed process. Obviously, we have other processes that are not programmed, like the brain awareness, for example. We know that the instruction that have the DNA into the neurons create the morphology and the functionality of the neurons, and the neurons create the awareness. But we have free will. This is not a deterministic process.
Yeah. So, how accessible do you think treatments for reverse aging will be in the future? Will this kind of breakthrough be available to everyone? I mean, I'm talking about the whole accessibility of it. Like, is there going to be a pill for me to take so it start de-aging me, or kind of like causing me to achieve immortality? How accessible is it, and how long would it take to be, for example, publicly accessible?
This is an ethical problem because, of course, when this type of groundbreaking therapies will come to market, your price are probably so expensive. All right,
Yeah.
This is a reality, and it's possible that in the first time, only the rich people can be paid this. All right,
Yeah.
But this is normal in all the technology development. Other example that have a parallel development is the development of the plane, for example. The plane, when the Wright sons invent, all right, the process of development are so expensive. And at the first time, only the most rich people can be paid a flight, for example. Now, with the new research in the field of the aviations and the aerodynamics and etc., the price start to decrease. And now is normal see people that not only pertenecing to the rich class in a flight. All right, and the technologies for aging it's similar. First, will be so expensive, but after with the advance in the different techniques for reduce the cost, the technologies, this type of technologies can massivizate to the entire world.
Yeah. So, how long do you think would it be in the would it take to for this to be on the market?
It's probably that this depends on the regulations, all right?
Yeah.
But probably we will see this type of technologies into 20 years, 50 years, approximately.
20 years.
Yes.
Because I said a month or so before, you mentioned that everybody that is under 60 right now could live up to be 300 years. Like, it's kind of like and I don't know if we get to live by then or for 300, surely if the development is going as the pace as it is, we can achieve immortality, I guess.
In theory, the point actually now the aging is a process that we not understand in the oil because it's a more complex biological process.
Yeah.
All right. And but probably we could achieve the biological immortality with this type of therapies when the time goes and this type of technologies start to advance.
Yeah. So, do you think you and I could achieve 300 years?
Sorry, can you repeat me?
Do you think you and I could live up to 300 years by this advancement? Wow.
Of course.
That's great news. So you talked about ethicality and morality of the whole process. So what are the biggest regularity or ethical challenges facing gene therapy right now, and how do you deal with those at RenovaCode?
All right. The regularity is so important problems in this field because the FDA is the entity that in the United States regulates all of the development of drugs and this type of things.
Yeah.
All right. And aging legally is not a disease. And create a drug for cure the aging have a problem in legal terms because a drug is a chemical compound or a biological compound or a technology that it creates for the treatment or diagnosticate a specific disease. And if the aging is legally it's not a disease, we have a so problem, all right?
Yeah.
Actually, now we have several strategies for advance with this type of therapies. without this problem of regulations, and the entities that regulate this have so things that they want modernize your old regulation about the aging, because I understand that at the time the aging is seen how a phenomenon that was irreversible. All right, and now we know the knowledge about that the aging is a reversible process, and it's malleable. And this probably conduces to different and several change in the field of regulation.
Yeah, surely it should be considered as a disease that we all have. The entire history of mankind, we had this disease. And as you've mentioned, when we figure out there is a way to kind of like confront this disease, so it is a sickness and there is a remedy. So yeah, it's weird for anyone to kind of like, I mean, maybe there are some like stops in the middle of the way from religious groups. I don't know about that. Have you ever been confronted by religious groups regarding what you're doing?
It's correct that this type of advance creates several change in the culture, in the society, in the philosophy, in the politics, in the economy, in other fields. And it's important that the people will be prepared with this type of advance, all right? But we consider that the transhumanism have the answer with this type of questions. And we need that this is basically the human progress. This is the future, and we need start to go to the direction.
Exactly. Yeah, you've mentioned the future. I'm curious about what's next for RenovaCode. What's the biggest move you guys are building towards right now?
All right. In RenovaCode, we actually stay in the preclinical phase. All right. We have developed different experiments in the laboratory in cells. In that we rejuvenate the cells and we can parameterize this, all right? And the other, the next challenge that we have is start with the in vivo assays. That is basically the utilization of rats or mouse or other type of animals to prove this type of technology.
When do you think it's going to be possible to do these tests on humans?
Yes, after of the preclinical in vivo that involves the utilization of rats or mouse or monkeys, in the case. After of this, start the clinical phase 1 assays. This type of assays involves the humans, basically. And the humans experiments have 3 phases: the phase 1, the phase 2, and the phase 3. And when we start, we will start to advance in these clinical trials. We can prove this in more humans, and we can advance in all of this.
Great. All right. That's it. Thank you so much, Marcos. Your work and passion are truly inspiring, and what you're doing is, in a way, the ultimate dream of humanity: to live longer, maybe even achieve immortality. I know some people are hesitant, saying we don't want to live forever, but if we defeat defeat disease, and everyone we love is there too as well, it's like we become gods, and that's a beautiful dream. And that you're making it achievable. So thanks again, and keep up the great work.
All right. Thank you so much, Midresa, and it's a pleasure to have spoken here.